So I've spent well over 16,000 hours in the trenches doing SEO for lots of different businesses. This started off with your local business all the way to billion-dollar businesses. I've worked on e-commerce, B2B, lead gen, retail, brick and mortar, and a lot more. I've worked with healthcare brands, manufacturing, beverage companies, furniture companies, and the list goes on. And if you just give me a few minutes of your day, I'm going to take your SEO to a completely different level. I'll be giving you a lot of valuable insights that I wish I had when starting SEO. Even a few years into SEO, I wish I knew these things. So, don't tab out of this window, okay? I know you want to watch that porno. Oh man. I know you want to tab out and watch that cat video, but don't do it. I promise you, you'll gain a lot more benefits than something like that. So first of all, SEO still boils down to two things, and that's content and links. Surprise, surprise. After everything that's gone on, all the updates with AI coming out and all the different animal named updates, SEO still comes down to content and links. Your job is to get good at making those two things and making them as cheap and quality as possible. Next up, there's no point in trying to get everything right in your technical SEO. Eventually, even with big enterprise sites, you're going to notice a diminishing return. Yeah, your website's going to have broken pages, that's fine, that's normal. There are errors, don't worry about it. Unless there's a load of these smaller problems, then fine, work on those. If there's major problems happening, there are few number, fix those. Or maybe there are a lot of smaller problems happening, then fix those. But eventually you'll reach those diminishing returns. If you're able to predict keywords people search for, you found a gold mine. So Ryan Stewart from Webris has a great case study on this. And essentially he's predicting the keywords people type in, and this helps him increase his e-commerce business. You've got to remember, when you're doing keyword research, when you get that data back, whether it's from Google Autocomplete or whichever tool you use, every single piece of data is past data. It's not current, it's not happening, it's not trending data. You need to actually be involved in that particular topic to find these currently trending topics that these keyword tools don't suggest. And once you get to that, well, guess what? That's a gold mine. So one example, and I'm taking this from Ryan Stewart's case study. He's basically selling shoelaces, and he gets a list of all the current shoes coming out, and he basically makes a video how to tie X shoe, how to tie Y shoe, even though they don't have any search volume behind them according to these tools, and there's not even a Google autocomplete result for these. He's still able to get traffic and drive this traffic to these product pages that sell laces. The 80-20 principle to on-page SEO is simply having your keyword in the meta title and the H1 tag. There are a lot of ways to optimize your page, but those two will have the biggest impact. Now, of course, as long as your page is already hitting the keyword intent, then you need to make sure there's the keyword in the H1 and the meta title. That'll have the biggest impact. Everything else is a lot smaller, whereas those two will have a major impact. Now, this one is something that SEOs, they don't like hearing, but it's the truth, and that is backlinks are a pay-to-win strategy. If you want links, you need to be okay with paying for them. Yes, you can get backlinks 100% free, but that's not a consistent strategy. And yes, I know you can do digital PR to land some quality links, but guess what? Are you hiring someone? Well, guess what? That's obviously a paid method. What tools are you using? Are you using an outreach tool? Well, guess what? That's paid. Are you using a tool to analyze your competitors' backlinks like SEMrush? Well, guess what? You're paying for that. It doesn't matter which way you cut it. Ultimately, backlinks is a pay-to-win game. Now, you don't need to spend an arm and a leg to get a bunch of backlinks consistently. And what I recommend you do is watch this video after you've seen the rest of this video. Stop paying attention to the Google updates. This goes back to the very first lesson. SEO is still just content and links. Whilst people are losing their minds about the next Google update, what they need to do to prepare, and they're just stressing out over nothing, I'm focusing on making my content and links better and cheaper. When Google rolls out an update, guess what? There's nothing you can do except provide a user with the best experience as possible and scaling your content and links. And make sure obviously your technical SEO is at a good point. Beyond that, there's nothing much you can do about these updates. So what's the point in stressing about it? There's no point. Just because Google says something is true, that doesn't mean it is true. Google has mentioned numerous times that links don't really matter, when in reality, they still play a critical role. Google has said on different occasions they don't use metrics like domain authority, but evidence shows the latter. I believe it was mentioned in the Google leaks that they have some kind of metric similar to domain authority or domain rating. You can do everything right and still not rank. This is super frustrating, and it's happened to me a couple of times. Luckily, not to my clients. So I remember creating a blog, and this was on WordPress, so the technical SEO was all perfectly fine. I created a bunch of content and I personally wrote these. They were really good, high quality, had low competition keywords behind them. But guess what? This website, even though it was brand new, no previous history, it would not index. No matter what I did, it just would not index. And sometimes it's just not meant to be, and you've got to learn the art of quitting, and which is a skill in and of itself. You need to know when to let go of something, and what I'd recommend you do if it's a client, you need to start anew. So I've known someone who was trying to rank this local business. They did everything right, but it just would not rank. So they just started with a new domain, and eventually that was ranking. So you've got to remember when to let go of something. Internal links are a super boost. Internal linking is probably the most underrated and highly effective strategy out there, which I love because I can take advantage of that. There are many internal linking strategies out there. One basic one I love to use for e-commerce is simply using the silo strategy on the category pages. So let's just say you've got the parent category here and the child categories here. All you're going to do is link from this child category to the parent category, and this will give them all a big boost. Another internal linking strategy you can use is to cluster pages. So let's just say you sell men's sling bags. You can create different pages related to men's slings bags and internally link them. SEO isn't just Google. There are lots of different search engines out there, whether that's YouTube, whether that's TikTok, whether that's Instagram, whether that's Twitter. People are still on those. So guess what? Optimize for them, because people are still searching through them. When people are looking for clothes to buy, often they're on places like Instagram, going through there. Well, guess what? Have your products on Instagram, be on there. And if you've got SEO knowledge, well, guess what? You can just transfer it to these search engines, because they're basically a lower quality version of Google. So these next few tips aren't necessarily directly SEO tips or SEO advice, but it's going to make your SEO journey a lot more fruitful. The big agencies are nothing special. So I remember working at a marketing agency, and my boss told me we're going to spend a day with this agency, and this agency was one of the biggest marketing agencies in the UK, and it still is, and it has a very big SEO department, and we both shared a client. Our agency did particular work for it, and their agency did the SEO. So we were going to spend a day with them, and I was really excited because I wanted to learn more about SEO. What tips and advice did they have regarding the SEO? And by the end of that day, do you know what I learned about SEO? Absolutely nothing. There was nothing unique about their SEO strategy, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It was just the basic stuff, which really is basically what you need. So if you're applying for a bigger SEO agency, a bigger role, or you're looking to hire a smaller agency and you don't know if you should go for the bigger agency, just know that there may not be any difference whatsoever apart from the reporting. The bigger agency will probably have much better reportings. Front-end web development helps a lot. At the end of the day, a website is made up of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And if you have a good understanding of how these works, you're going to have a good understanding of how a website works. And therefore, that will transfer in having a good understanding of how a search engine works and crawls your website. Now, I'm personally still learning front-end web development, but the little that I have learned has clarified a lot for me. Stop getting stuck on traffic. It doesn't matter how much traffic you're getting. Are you making money from that traffic? Are you capturing leads? Is that traffic doing what you want? If not, there's no real need to focus on it. What's the point? The bottom line is, it's not about how much traffic you get, it's about how much of it converts. Yes, I understand that it's really nice to see that chart go up, but is the revenue going up as a result? If not, you need to stop and look at your strategy again. I remember an agency I used to work for, and the CEO sat down with me and he said to me, "Sukesh, you're really good at what you do, but you're just a nerd behind a computer. You need to actually focus on sales." And when he gave me that piece of advice, that completely changed everything for me. I did SEO in a completely different manner, and I approached business in a completely different manner. I wasn't chasing after vanity metrics. I was identifying things that actually matter and focusing on those things. Don't just focus on the SEO. SEO isn't a silver bullet. You need to take an omni-channel approach. Make sure you have a budget for Google ads, at least Google shopping ads if you're on e-commerce. Make sure you're doing Facebook retargeting. And you've got to remember, retargeting ads are a lot cheaper and they could be a lot more higher converting. And if you want an A to Z breakdown on how to grow your business, I'd highly recommend checking out this video. And if you're really serious about SEO, I'd highly recommend jumping on a one-on-one call with myself. It's basically an hour-long call where I take your business and tell you what you need to do in order to grow it. I'll leave a link in the comments below.